Good morning, everyone. Please join me in thanking the University organist, Annette Girk. Welcome, Kaya. My name is Professor Kara McNish and I'm the Chair of the Academic Board, the peak academic body of the university. And I'm here to tell you a little about the graduation ceremony, its history, the people involved, and how this morning's events will proceed. Before proceedings commence, could I please request that your mobile telephones are turned off or down, and advise that should an emergency occur in the venue, we will take our lead from the theatre staff. On behalf of all my university colleagues, I'm delighted to welcome you to this morning's graduation ceremony. To begin, I'd like to acknowledge that our ceremony today takes place on Whadjuk Budja, the country of the Noongar people, and pay my respects to Noongar elders past, present and emerging as the custodians of this historic place on which we meet. Today's graduation ceremony is also a traditional celebration of the university. UWA takes great pride in its history, having enrolled its first students over 100 years ago. However, our roots are deeply embedded in the academic values and traditions that for many centuries have given rise to the world's finest universities. The traditional nature of our graduation ceremony serves to highlight this enduring connection with our heritage. As has been the case in universities across the globe throughout the centuries, the ceremony will begin with the arrival of the academic procession. This procession comprises graduating scholars, academics, and office bearers of the university attired in their formal academic regalia. UWA is very much an international institution, and our academic staff come from universities from a wide variety of countries and cultures. So in this morning's procession, you'll see a varied and often colourful array of regalia from around the world. The procession will be led by graduating students, followed by academic staff in order of seniority. At the end of the procession will come the principal office bearers of the university, members of the university's governing body, the Senate, and our distinguished guests. The final figure in the procession will be the Chancellor of the university, the Honourable Robert French AC, who is immediately preceded by the mace bearer. The mace will be carried by a current student and is a symbolic representation of the authority vested in the Chancellor, who is Chair of the University's Senate. After the National Anthem, the Chancellor will formally welcome all graduands and guests and guide us through the ceremony. During the ceremony, there will be a short musical interlude performed by students of the UWA School of Music. You will, I believe, find much to interest you during this morning's proceedings, but of course the main reason you have come is to witness the graduation of our scholars, and I hope you will all join with my colleagues and me in warmly congratulating each scholar who comes onto this stage to receive their degree. And while it is a historic setting, it is also a celebration, and I invite you to express your enthusiasm wholeheartedly as our graduates are awarded their degrees. There will be a professional video and photographs of the ceremony and professional photographers waiting downstairs, but do please feel free to stand where you are to capture your own images of the moment. Now, would you please all rise to your feet so that the arrival of the academic procession can commence. Thank you.
Please be seated, ladies and gentlemen. Members of the University Senate, distinguished guests, graduands, ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to welcome you to our 10th autumn graduation ceremony. I particularly want to acknowledge the presence at the ceremony of Dr. Georgie Paulick-White, who will deliver the graduation address, Ms. Kamariana Hulis, who will deliver the valedictory address, the representative of the Warden of Convocation, Dr. Angela Evangelino-Yanakis, members of Senate, Emeritus Professor Craig Atkins, and former Chancellor's Medal recipient, Mrs. Annette Girk. The University of Western Australia acknowledges the custodians and traditional owners of the land on which any of its campuses are located. At the main campus at Crawley, the University acknowledges the Whadjuk Noongar people as the traditional owners of the land on which it is situated. The Whadjuk Noongar remain the spiritual and cultural custodians of their land and continue to practice their values, languages, beliefs and knowledge. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we share in a ceremony which is deeply rooted in the history and tradition of universities in this country and around the world. It marks the formal recognition by the university of the achievements of its graduands in meeting the standards and requirements of the various courses of study and research which they have undertaken over a number of years. The ceremony joins them with members of the academic staff who have taught them or supervised their work, and with representatives of the University Convocation, which is part of the university and which, as graduates, they either already belong to or join. The ceremony also brings graduates together with parents, friends and other relatives who have supported them in their work and share intimately in their achievements, and we particularly welcome your presence here today. This university has a long history of achievement and excellence in teaching and research and engagement with the wider community for the benefit of the state, the nation and indeed the global community of which we are all part. It was created, in the words of the University of Western Australia Act of 1911, to advance the prosperity and welfare of the people. It was the product of the vision and energy and commitment of extraordinary individuals who founded it and who were its benefactors. Its achievements are the achievements of its people, those who teach and research here, those who govern and administer the university, and the alumni who go from this place to make their contributions in a myriad of different ways. It's not just a degree with which you leave this place, it is a degree from the University of Western Australia, which is one of Australia's leading universities and, according to international rankings, one of the world's leading universities. Each of you who graduate today will be presented with a Noongar message stick, carrying with it the story of this place. According to Indigenous beliefs, tribal boundaries were established by the great spirits of the Dreamtime. No human had the right to interfere with those boundaries or to venture onto the tribal land of others. The sticks were traditional passports from one nation to another in Indigenous Australia. They are seen as carrying the stories of Indigenous people across the land. In a symbolic way, we entrust the story of this place to you to carry it into the world. The gift symbolises a permanent connection expressed in the timeless language of the Noongar people. For all of you, I express the hope that the knowledge and skills you will have acquired at this university will enable you to follow the lifelong path reflected in its motto, to seek wisdom, and of course to apply it for the good of all. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my pleasure to invite the Deputy Vice-Chancellor Education, Professor David Sadler, to give a brief opening address to today's graduands and their guests.
Chancellor, graduands, parents, friends of the university, congratulations. It is my privilege to congratulate you on behalf of the University of Western Australia. This morning's ceremony is an opportunity for all of us, graduating students, parents, friends and staff, to formally recognise and celebrate your outstanding achievement in graduating from UWA. As you will know, graduation is a culmination of many years' hard work, and I hope you will remember your time as a UWA student with pride, excitement and accomplishment. During your time here, you will have enjoyed moments of great joy and satisfaction, as well as having endured setbacks and challenges. The disciplines within the Faculty of Science will have prepared you for your future at so many levels. You should feel a great sense of pride at how those years of resilience and persistence have paid off as you sit in this beautiful hall with your fellow graduates, surrounded by your loved ones and your friends, to celebrate and look to the future with both ambition and purpose. We have provided you with something greater than a world-class education. Being a student is much more than providing you with access to academic excellence. I hope that you have found your time here as a UWA student to become involved in the many facets of campus life, in the clubs, societies, overseas exchange programs, work experiential learning or community internships. All these experiences have offered you an opportunity to further develop your skills and prepare you for the future. Our graduates have been making a difference at both local and national as well as international levels for more than 100 years. So much, of course, has changed during this time, and our graduates are now emerging into a rapidly changing world. One of our newest science graduates, for example, is pursuing an unusual career in sleep science, investigating the relationship between sleep for recovery and performance in elite athletes. He has worked with the Australian Institute of Sport with athletes from combat sports, our local rugby union team, the Western Force and the Perth Lynx basketball team. A major recommendation from a study with the Perth Lynx was that the team's training sessions could be held in the afternoons, better suiting the circadian rhythms of most of the athletes. It really is incredible where a UWA degree can take you. You should feel confident that you are well prepared to take your place in a highly competitive working environment. You have mastered subject matter, concepts and techniques, and acquired the skills that equip you for lifelong learning. But we find ourselves in a period of disruption, turbulence, and global uncertainty. There is much conjecture about the future of the world, including what the jobs and careers of the future will look like. You are graduating at a time when the rise of populism has spawned terms such as fake news, post-truth, and alternative facts. Globalisation brings many opportunities, but has also provided us with some areas for critical debate and intelligent dialogue. Knowledge and its application to societal issues has never been more important. I urge you to use the knowledge and skills you have learned, especially the power of critical thinking, to rally against the trend of fake news and alternative facts, and demonstrate that knowledge, facts and evidence matter. Some commentators are suggesting that graduates of the future are likely to have 5 careers and up to 17 jobs. 40% of jobs are said to change, perhaps not disappear, and you will be creating opportunities for others in the future. We expect that your UWA degree will empower and equip you to succeed in a career of your choosing, possibly a career that has not even yet been created. Each of you has the capacity to make a difference to society, whether it be through a major scientific breakthrough or through business innovation. But just as importantly, you have developed the capacity to embrace change, to provide innovative solutions, and to question and be open to new ideas and new possibilities. This is an exciting time for you, a time to rise to the challenge of what comes next. Many of our graduates here today are already making their mark, having achieved great things during their time at UWA. During the year, several of our graduates have also been recognised with awards and honours for their important achievement in sciences. The faculty awarded a total of 258 prizes and scholarships last year. That's an incredible achievement. Your faculty also had 88 students take part in the study abroad programmes in universities around the world, from Ireland to the United States to Japan. What a wonderful way to get some international experience and education. I'm delighted you chose to study at this university. And for those who are leaving us now, we are sad to see you leave, but it's not farewell. You will always be part of the UWA community. You will always be welcome here, and we will do our best to support you throughout your career. In turn, I hope you will stay connected and become an active alumni member. What makes UWA special and unique is that when the university was established, our founders placed great importance on building a community of graduates. Convocation exists to ensure all graduates have a lifelong connection to the university. Graduates, your hard work and dedication have led you to this moment, and wherever your journey leads from here, you should be very proud of your achievements. This is your day. Enjoy it. Congratulations to you all. It is now my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Dr. Georgie Paulick-White. Georgie is a clinical and research psychologist and regards herself as a research practitioner. She has dedicated her career to working in voice hearing and early psychosis. She completed her PhD in auditory hallucinations from the University of Western Australia in 2007, and since then has helped lead development of a novel intervention for voice hearers. Georgie founded and is clinical director of Perth Voices Clinic, a psychological treatment, teaching and research clinic for people who hear voices or have other unusual perceptual experiences. Perth Voices Clinic won the Innovation Award at the 2017 WA Mental Health Awards. Please welcome Dr. Georgie Paulick-White.
Chancellor, graduands, parents, partners, friends of the university, it's a pleasure, honour and a privilege to be here today. I think many people in the audience may think that choosing a clinical psychologist to give a graduation address sounds like a good, well-suited idea. Well, here's where you're wrong. Psychologists actually don't give advice, or at least we shouldn't. So what am I doing here in front of you today? It's a very good question. All right, let's start with a story. Thanks to the kind words of Vice-Chancellor, you now have learnt that I have dedicated my career to working with people who hear voices that other people don't hear, commonly termed auditory hallucinations. Although 65% of people who experience auditory hallucinations actually don't have a psychotic illness, such as schizophrenia, which might surprise you, psychosis was an area that made sense for me to cut my teeth on. So the story starts when I was a Master's PhD student at the University of Western Australia, about to start my first clinical placement. I chose to go to a psychiatric inpatient facility to experience working in the field. I'll forego telling you the details, and some of the details I have changed for confidentiality reasons. But a couple of weeks into my placement, I was already disgruntled because I was not being assigned psychosis clients to work with, and neither, may I add, were the other psychologists working on the ward. Already being a passionate advocate for this clinical group, I was livid because I knew that the Australian treatment guidelines for psychosis clearly state that cognitive behaviour therapy, delivered by psychologists, should be offered as a frontline treatment alongside antipsychotic medication. Now, I expressed this opinion at an untimely time during a ward round. The person chairing the meeting sculled at me and then laughed and said, let's give her waste of electricity to work with. I kid you not, this is how they referred to a client who'd been incarcerated in this facility for many years and had been given countless unhelpful rounds of electroconvulsive therapy, hence the title, Waste of Electricity. Many of the staff found this to be a very funny joke and laughed. I was obviously disgusted. As you can imagine, I took on the client determined to make a difference in their life, both for the client, but also to prove a point. When I met the client, she was wearing a helmet, because when she got distressed, which was often, she would bang her head hard against a wall. Many, though not all, of the nursing staff had actually learnt to close the nursing station window when she was approaching because they couldn't understand her, which, as you can imagine, distressed the client further. This client had an extreme form of thought disorder, which is commonly called word salad. All of her words were mixed up and jumbled, so her speech was incomprehensible. An example of her speech was spaghetti head, hair yellow, sunshine, outdoor, want walk shoes, Reebok. Here was a lady who was distressed because she couldn't communicate, and even if she could, no one was listening. There was not much in the way of evidence-based practice for word salad at the time, but I knew I couldn't give up on her like so many others had. I sat with her and I patiently listened day after day, and I soon realised that the more anxious she got, the more jumbled her speech became. And so I started to teach her how to relax and calm down, and did actually find that her words somewhat improved. I also started writing down verbatim the words that she was saying, and found that when she was calm, she could actually underline the words that had meaning for her so that we could communicate. I soon discovered that one of the words she kept using, spaghetti head, she was using this to describe how distressed she was about how jumbled her thoughts were in her head. They felt like she had spaghetti in her head. Other words would come together to make sentences, communicating simple needs like wanting to go outside for a walk, for food, or simply for companionship. She got to the point where she could actually write down the key words on a piece of paper and give them to the nursing staff to communicate. I later learnt that she was discharged only 4 months later. Did I feel smug? You bet. Did I feel deeply moved to be part of this woman's personal recovery? Most definitely. So at this stage, you might be thinking, interesting story, Georgie, but what does this have to do with us graduating here today? My answer, everything. Don't let people get away with things that go against your values, especially when they're backed by science. And there's no better way than to shove something in somebody's face than to prove them that they're wrong, rather than sit back and argue the point. Actions really do speak louder than words. I'm not saying you'll always succeed taking this advice, because goodness knows I haven't, but your learning curve will be steep and people will not forget you. The other lesson to this story is that there can be method and meaning in what otherwise seems like randomness, in both people and in science. I'm not saying everything is an opportunity. Even Sigmund Freud said, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, but sometimes it's a penis. You can often find opportunity in what might appear unpromising places. When I got my first job, now in Sydney, I worked in another, this time more up-to-date with science, inpatient psychiatric facility. Although my role here wasn't specialised, I often acted as though it was. I gave in-service presentations, I ran voices groups, I joined the working group of the local Hearing Voices Network, and I ran quality improvement activities, starting to pilot a novel intervention for voice hearers. Before long, I'd carved out a space for myself as the lady who worked with voices. Mark Twain once said, "The secret to getting ahead is getting started." So my take-home message here is go out, get a job, any job you can, and make it your own. This way, work will be a pleasure and hopefully your passion. Now, if you're not lucky enough to yet know what your passion is, or even if you've done the right course for you, I recommend you go out and be micro-ambitious. Throw yourself into every task assigned and find something exciting or at least interesting about it. And schmooze. Schmooze, schmooze, schmooze. If this terrifies you, just be present. Have your presence known by being there. Do more than just attend the PED opportunities. Get on the steering committee and run them. By having made it this far as UWA graduates, you are already winning and you are already schmoozing. If the opportunities don't present themselves, make them. But hey, I'm a psychologist, not an advice giver. So I leave to you what you take from this speech, if anything, in your very capable hands. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Georgie, for giving us those confronting human realities in an inspiring speech.
I think you will agree that Dr. Pollock-White's address is a fitting introduction to the primary purpose of this ceremony, which is to confer upon graduates degrees and diplomas of the University in recognition of their academic achievements. My name is Tony O'Donnell and I'm Pro Vice-Chancellor and Executive Dean of the Faculty of Science. It is my pleasure today to present graduates to the Chancellor for conferral of the award of Diploma and degree of Bachelor of this University. Chancellor, for the Diploma in Science, Zoe McCartney Olamide Akindele Obe. Shannon Ann Browning. Evelyn May K. Ha. Simone Louise Harrington. Daniel Erling Wei Han Lim. Alison Denise Monsoon. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts with a major in Psychology double major, Jack Anthony Dowling. Paul Desmond Gordon. Zoe Isabel Minea. Sabah Nahian Siddiq. Cody David Whittam. Shea Ting Wong. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts with a major in Psychology in Society, Lauren Claire Aubrey. Natasha Almanda Bisono. Phoebe Joyce Carrington Jones. Shannon Carroll. Jacinta Merid Cowan. Hanika Dawn Gerritsen. Joshua Peng Chu Han. Samantha Nicole Jones. Brandon Arvino Scherer. Darcy Mitchell Shaw. Priya Singh. Catherine Ann Somerville. Andrew David Stewart. Alicia York Hiateo. Sean Patrick Towns. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours, Anna Patricia Beattie. Rebecca Charlotte Cole. Erin Alessandra Gottard Fox. Emily Saleo. Jessica Elizabeth Stewart, Dana Louise Walker, for the degree of Bachelor of Science with a major in Biomedical Science, Amy Bridget Patricia Ribe, for the degree of Bachelor of Science with a major in Neuroscience, Amer Hatem Mohamed Abdeen, Liberty Grace Brown, Chua Yi Ren, Johan Nicholas Klassen, Dominic Datar, Nicholas Francesco Donardo, Samuel Timothy Giles, Charlotte Fern Glantz, Anastasia Maja Goreski, Charles Joseph Greif, Andrew Hart, Hei Chan Jung, Drutika Lalji Carson, Nina Kumagi, Jennifer Ann Marks, Tian de Paul Otto, Bradley Nicholas Pang, Nirali Parikh, Julia Ellen Reynolds, Akila Sambara, Akanksha Raj Sharma, Hana Rahayu Jasmine Tambun Nan, Wei Jen Bernard Tan, Harrison Mark Thomas, Radley Maxwell Wallace, Georgia Ray Wisson, for the degree of Bachelor of Science with a major in Psychological Science, Kimberly Caris Barker, Morgan Janet Barnsby, Alex Richard Berry, Zosha Ruth Dabrowski, Sarah Jane Dalbot, L.E. Miranda Elizabeth Franklin, Nicole Elise Girac, Callista Wen-Shi Go, Phoebe Lue Ho, William Jasper Hoffman, Carter Ford Hudson, Kaylee Jacqueline Jones, Charlotte Marion Keelan, Wei Jing Kop, Joshua Jia Ching Lim, Thomas Joseph McKenney, Joanna Mary Miles, Drishna Sunil Mirchandani, Ashita Nair, Anju Nakashini, Darcy Carol O'Hara, Amelia Rachel Reynolds, Thomas Raymond Richards, Erin Rose Rosnowski, Isabella Nina Saba, Olivia Emma Charland, Shuher Air Gracelyn Tan, Tan Ying, Agasha Tamutheran, Richard James Thomas, Matthew Jordan Waldrick, Alison Claire Watson, for the degree of Bachelor of Science with a major in Psychology, double major, Sophie Ann Belton, Susan K.I., Asher Daniel Cayley, Nuada Rainbow Storm Dixon, Bronte Rose Donati Lidlow, Danielle Marie Finn, George Timothy Gunson, Melissa Jane Jolie, Sam Kankalili, Chelsea Iris Ann Liley, Jacqueline Yu Rong Lim, Zoe Luca, Sarah Felicity Maiden, Kanyasili Makore, Jessica Muljoharjo, Julia Erin Nunn, Bronte Jade O'Grady, Tiala Tanisha Papali, Brooke Emily Peden, Felicia Genevieve Pereira, Rebecca G. Wei Shao, Sarah Shengeb, Bronwyn Amy Carter Smith, Esther Son, Pok To Su, Kirsten Ellen Tapper, Ellen Georgia Tatchley, Tristan Kubax Taylor, Hannah Din To, Stephanie Yi Kun Si, Oliver Thomas Vernal, Emma Christine Vincan, Jennifer Ling Si Wang, Helena Wiratmadja. For the degree of Bachelor of Science with a major in Zoology, Jack William Zimdal. For the degree of Bachelor of Science, Lita Chan. For the degree of Bachelor of Science with Honours, Caleb Stewart Burnside. Jaden Nicholas Greenwell Barnden. Hannah Marley McLinden. Benjamin Eric Perry. Emmanuel Abimenfulawa Akinpelu. Liam Miles Ashby. Lauren Benit. Zachary Mark Blundell. Kathleen Siobhan Camacho. Jessica Andrea Cook. Andrew Paul Dawson. Allegra Jane DiFrancesco. Anna Jane Dolan. Sarah Louise Donaldson, Nicholas Thomas Gabriel, Chloe Cinta Lim Gifford, Jamila Jessica Giles, Chloe Gwendolyn Garland Gray, Emily Jade Ann Helmore, Benjamin Jack Herbertson, Aaron Hee Wei Fan, Jasmine Jean Hooper, Jack Gordon Hudson Williams, Jack Louis Hutchinson, Eleanor Robin Jones, Whitney Wing Can, Jade Emily Kenna, Courtney Jade Lander, Luke Keith LeBreton, Antonina Lonkarevich, Amy Jane Lorimer, Jasmine Sky MacLeod, Bethan Xanthe Buick Miller, Savannah McCaffrey Moscarda, Rachel Elizabeth Mumm, Georgia Pansini, Daisy Jane Phillips, Isabel Margaret Rater, Rebecca Sarah Simpson, Claire Louise Starbuck, Derek Christopher Sway, Lillian May Toomey, Nathaniel Michael Wells, Tylee Marie Wiseman, Shi Yin Victoria Wong, and Natasha Louise Zint.
The graduates could stand. On behalf of the University, I confer the award of Diploma and degree of Bachelor upon the graduates presented to me by the Pro Vice-Chancellor and Executive Dean of the Faculty of Science. Graduates may now be seated. The University is very proud of its Conservatorium of Music and of the performance standards of its students. I therefore have great pleasure in introducing a brief musical interlude by members of Con Cantorum, one of the UWA vocal ensembles, who will be performing Waltzing Matilda.
Kalaramalipatangayanakin karawatayara bitayala marungala rutumbilua kalaramalipatangayanakin karawatayara bitayala marungala rutumbilua kalaramalipatangayanakin karawatayara bitayala marungala rutumbilua kalaramalipatangayanakin karawatayara bitayala
Thank you again to the Con Cantorum.
It is now my pleasure to present a graduate to the Chancellor for conferral of the award of Graduate Diploma of this University. Chancellor, for the Graduate Diploma in Psychology, Camilla Ferguson Gordon-Ray. It is now my pleasure to present graduates to the Chancellor for conferral of the degree of Master of this University.
Before we do that, I think the...
Oh, sorry. Yes.
This graduate gets a standalone conferral. On behalf of the University, I confer the award of Graduate Diploma upon the graduate presented to me by the Pro Vice Chancellor and the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Science.
It is now my pleasure to present graduates to the Chancellor for the conferral of the degree of Master of this University. Chancellor, for the degree of Master of Biomedical Science, Biochemistry and Molecular Biology, Jadin Q. Shrinkala Singh. For the degree of Master of Biomedical Science, Biochemistry and Molecular Biology with distinction, Gopal Krishnan Priyadashini. Lan Bak Tung Pam. For the degree of Master of Biomedical Science, Human Biology, Joanna Irena Grusheka. Harpreet Kaur. Nhu Mong Nguyen. Raj Patel. Linda Sim. For the degree of Master of Biomedical Science, Neuroscience, Samra Kroncha. Hadil Tararne. Hiran Teva Veerapandiyan Teva. For the degree of Master of Clinical Audiology, Bernadette Cristela Cristanto. Bernice Lisa Ong. Vanessa Panak. Belinda Teresita Porte Garcia. For the degree of Master of Clinical Audiology with distinction, Courtney Jenna Kamiko Ayers. Diana Rochelle Bentley Moyes. Stephanie Cohen. Nicholas James Cook. Michael Dominic DeLuca. Caroline Mary Fanning. Justine Feng. Samantha Amber Gould. Erin Marie Kosovic. Shelley Shongxian Lee. Kara Yuan Ling Lo. Kevin Jameson Morales Logan. Chantel Nicole Maranta, Holly Catherine Menegola, Hannah Louise Morley, Laura Alison Muska, Emma Page Cicluna, Marusha Zhang, for the degree of Master of Clinical Exercise Physiology, Mark Edward Sian Ming Ile, Lauren Rose Kearsley, Sherry Ko Shusha, Samuel William Rutherford Love, Stevie Janine Roshan Tomset, for the degree of Master of Clinical Exercise Physiology with distinction, Benjamin Elliott Kramer. For the degree of Master of Dental, Public and Primary Health, Avinash Basward Aju. Vipal Bharat Kumar Patel. For the degree of Master of Exercise Science, Patrick Philip Wilson. For the degree of Master of Health Science, Exercise and Health with distinction, Laura Gabriela Villacarillo. For the degree of Master of Health Science, Neuroscience, Katrina Anna Martha Marina Padilla de Roy. For the degree of Master of Industrial and Organizational Psychology with distinction, Shunxian Ryan Ho. Yam Mei Ha Cheryl. For the degree of Master of Work, Health and Safety, Joshua John William Dart. And Lisa Elaine Massey.
On behalf of the University, I now confer the degree of Master upon the graduates presented to me by the Pro-Vice Chancellor and Executive Dean of the Faculty of Science.
It is now my pleasure to present a graduate to the Chancellor for conferral of the degree of Doctor of Psychology with a specialisation in clinical psychology. Chancellor, to qualify for the award of a Doctor of Psychology with a specialisation in clinical psychology of this university, a graduate is required over a period of 3 years full-time to complete high-level theoretical coursework, extended clinical training and a research dissertation in clinical psychology. Chancellor, I now present to you a graduate who has completed the requirements for the award of Doctor of this university. Chancellor, for the degree of Doctor of Psychology, Clinical Psychology, I present to you Thomas Parker.
On behalf of the University, I now confer the degree of Doctor upon the graduate presented to me by the Pro-Vice-Chancellor and the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Science.
My name is Professor Kate Wright, and I am the Dean of the Graduate Research School. It is my pleasure today to present graduands to the Chancellor for conferral of the degree of Doctor of this university. To qualify for the award of a doctoral degree of this university, a graduand is required over not less than 3 years to complete training at an advanced level and to pursue research leading to a thesis that makes a substantial and original contribution to knowledge. The thesis is examined by 3 distinguished scholars of international standing. The examination process subjects the thesis to criticism and evaluation at the highest level and ensures that a recipient of the degree has demonstrated the ability to carry out successful research which satisfies rigorous standards. Chancellor, I now present to you graduands who have completed theses that have fulfilled the requirements for the award of the degree of Doctor of this university. Chancellor, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, for a thesis entitled Error Monitoring and Empathy, Exploring Neurophysiological Correlates Within a Multidimensional Framework, I present to you Noor Azani binti Noor Amaruddin. For a thesis entitled The Sky is Falling, Evidence of a Negativity Bias in the Social Transmission of Information, I present to you Keely Regan Bebbington. For a thesis entitled Combinatorial Ion Channel Inhibitor Therapy for the Treatment of CNS Injury, a Therapeutic Optimization Approach, I present to you Ryan Lewis O'Hare-Doig. For a thesis entitled Observing and Overcoming Reduced Right Hemisphere Involvement in Spatial Attention in Adults with Autistic-like Traits, I present to you Michael Charles Woodfield English. For a thesis entitled Analysis of 16th to 19th Century Silver Coins, I present to you Lizelle Ann Gentili. For a thesis entitled A Comprehensive Investigation of the Relationships Between Rapid Automized Naming, Orthographic Knowledge, Speed of Processing and Literacy, I present to you Kamariani Hulith. For a thesis entitled Describing and Evaluating a Novel Method of Clinical Risk Assessment, I present to you Shraddha Kashyap. For a thesis entitled Depressive Symptomatology in Obstructive Sleep Apnea, I present to you Shinuka Nathakumar. For a thesis entitled The Face Predicts the Brain, an investigation of facial morphology associated with autism, I present to you Diana Waiting Tan. And for a thesis entitled Creating Chronic Tympanic Membrane Perforations in a Rat Model, I present to you Yu Wang.
On behalf of the University, I confer the degree of Doctor upon the graduands presented to me by the Dean of the Graduate Research School. On behalf of the University, I now confer in absentia respective awards upon those graduands who were unable to be present at this ceremony and whose names are printed in the program. Ladies and gentlemen, I now invite a member of the Council of Convocation, Dr. Angela Evangelino Yanakis, to welcome today's new graduates.
Fellow graduates, as a member of the Council of Convocation of the University, I congratulate you on your graduation. As graduates, you join the diverse and incredibly talented alumni of this university. However, because of UWA's unique structure and supporting legislation, you also automatically join the convocation, the representative body of the graduates, as lifelong members. As members of convocation, you now have the right and privilege to share in and contribute to the intellectual and cultural life of the university, and to stand for election to the Council of Convocation, and for the 2 places on Senate elected by members of Convocation. As a member of Convocation, you join over 150,000 graduates who have successfully completed their studies at UWA over the past 100 years. The friendships you have developed as a student at UWA are fostered within Convocation to support valued lifelong networks. Convocation's members range from young to older, and all are welcome, valued and supported. As time passes after graduation, you will enjoy seeing and hearing the stories of success of your fellow students. Convocation is proud to be able to promote the wonderful achievements of our members and looks forward to telling your story. Among the existing members of Convocation, among you, I welcome new members and encourage you to continue the relationship with the university, which began when you chose to study here and continues as a member of Convocation. Congratulations and best wishes.
Well, today we are celebrating the achievements of our students, and it's appropriate, therefore, that a student voice should be heard to mark this occasion. I'm pleased to invite Dr. Kamariani Hulis, who graduated today with a degree of Doctor of Philosophy, to give the valedictory address on behalf of the graduates.
Chancellor, Deputy Vice-Chancellor, members of Senate, distinguished guests, members of staff, graduates and their guests. It is an honour and privilege to be standing here before you all, farewelling the graduates of 2018. I apologise in advance if I become emotional, as I have dreamt of this graduation ceremony for such a long time. And I certainly did not expect to be standing here addressing you all. From a very young age, my dad instilled in me the importance of education and how privileged my generation was to go to school and learn. He never had the opportunity to further his studies, although he thoroughly enjoyed learning. He lived through World War II and was forced to learn Italian for 4 years. Post-war, he managed to complete Greek primary school, but then had to help his family as they were still feeling the effects of the war. My dad used to remind me over and over again that the more strings to my bow, the better off I would be in life. I was born in Perth, and at age 7 moved with my family to Greece. At age 20, I got married and lived in Italy. I returned to Australia with my 3 children in 2002. I was thirsty to learn and improve my life. In the past, my parents always encouraged me to study. I did not listen to them then, but at the age of 32, I decided it was better late than never. Now I have a Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science, both with honours, and a PhD in psychology. It wasn't easy getting into UWA, but I was prepared to do whatever it takes to get an offer. After sitting the STAT test, the Maths Competency Test, and the IELTS test twice, I made it. I still remember waking up at 6 in the morning after hearing a bang on my front door. It was my offer letter. Yes, in those days, your offer arrived in a pack, in the back of a van, in a pack with lots of other information. It was the most exciting day of my life. I was in. My UWA journey was beginning. As all of you know, life has its ups and downs. And to complete a degree is a huge commitment. During my PhD journey, my dad became terminally ill, and I suspended my studies to take care of him and my mum. He fought really hard for a long time to beat his illness, but unfortunately there was no cure. 3 days before his passing, he told me that things were not looking good and asked me to sell my old car and keep his car. But most importantly, he made me promise that I would go back to university and complete my PhD. Here I am, Daddy. This journey has inspired me to become an educator, to help children achieve their dreams, and to promote the importance of education. Graduates, this is the day to feel proud of ourselves, reflect on our hard work and the ups and downs we've been through to get to where we are today. It was so worth it. This is also the day to thank all the people around us that have supported us, cared for us, and believed in us. We couldn't have made it without you. Family, partners, friends, supervisors, and UWA, you have played a very important part in our success. Moving on, it is easy to feel that you don't have enough relevant work experience. I recently updated my CV, and I was trying to think of the skills and attributes my studies have equipped me with. At first, I felt disheartened and inadequate, but then I started thinking about what kept me going and how my life had improved by completing my studies. The first thing that came to mind for me was persistence and resilience, followed by a long list of other skills and attributes. Recently, I came across an article on Seek, listing the 7 most universal job skills. Great verbal and written communication skills, flexibility, adaptability and innovation, creativity and problem solving, results-focused, great interpersonal skills, computer skills, and ability to research. Do you still feel inadequate? No matter what degree you have completed, these are the skills you have gained at our university. Now go out there and conquer the world. Congratulations, graduates of 2018. I wish you all the best with your future endeavours. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Kamariani. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your participation in today's proceedings, which has made it a memorable occasion for all the graduates. I particularly wish to thank Dr. Georgie Paulick-White for giving the graduation address and Dr. Kamariani Hulish for her valedictory address. Both of them have enriched these proceedings with their perspectives. To all the new graduates, I offer my warm congratulations. As UWA graduates, your achievements will enhance the reputation of this university. We hope that you will keep in touch with us over the coming years to let us know what you are doing and that you will retain a lifelong connection as a part of the university community. The ceremony is now concluded and I invite you to join us on Whitfield Court for light refreshments. Members of the audience are asked to rise and remain standing in their places until the procession, including the new graduates, has left the hall.